I'm cooking my second Blue Apron meal. Last night we cooked the chicken meal, and tonight I'm cooking the fish, the pan-seared barramundi. So one of the perks of working from home is being able to cook dinner during lunch. So I'm going to do that today. So since we have soccer practice, which I just realized soccer practice is going to be dark when we go to soccer tonight at 5 o'clock. But that's okay, it'll still be good. Let me share this out. And if any of you guys are hanging out on your lunch break, you want to ask me any questions or chat while we cook. Let's see. Perfect. Feel free to ask questions. We can chat while I cook because this says it's going to take, and the timing was actually pretty true to what they estimated on here last night. So 10 minutes of prep time and then 25 to 35 minutes of cook time. So it will take up pretty much my whole lunch hour, but that's okay. So like I said, I'm cooking dinner during lunch right now because we've got soccer practice tonight, and I want to be able to cook this because it came on Friday, and so I want to make sure that it doesn't go bad. Let me just share, oops, share. Okay, so like I said, I got my first Blue Apron shipment on Friday, and I just wanted to go ahead and get everything cooked. I usually do my grocery shopping on Friday anyway, so I figured that that would be a good time to get it and have the groceries here. If I do it in the future, I'd pick like well, because I usually cook like a big meal on Sundays when I usually cook a bigger meal. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to get started cooking because like I said, it's going to take me about 10 minutes to prep it and 25 to 35 minutes to cook it, so about 45 minutes total, so we can chat in between while I get started. So one of the things that, everything came in the box on Friday, it's all refrigerated, it shows up at your front door, they give you all the ingredients. One of the things that I keep complaining about is I wish they were already like prepped and ready to go, I just had to throw them together, I didn't want to have to do the prep work. But so today I am making a pan-seared barramundi with Prince of Orange potatoes and spinach. And it's got same 6 steps as last night. So we're going to start with step number 1, which is prepare the ingredients. And the first step is to preheat my oven to 475. All right, part of step 1 is done. So I'm preheating the oven. And then wash and dry the fresh produce. I'm going to chop up the potatoes, peel the garlic. Okay, so they gave me one like bulb, is it a head of garlic, and then inside the garlic are different bulbs of garlic, or cloves of garlic, that's what it is. So I had a head of garlic, and I only used a couple of them last night, and I didn't read ahead to see that I need them for today as well, and I kind of threw them away. So, but I do have, like I said, I usually use my minced garlic that's already chopped up, so I'll just use that instead. And then I have to, okay, so that's about it for that. And my shallot, I think I have to chop up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dice the potatoes because I know that they're going to go in first. And we did do dishes last night, so it's coming straight out of my dishwasher. Alright, so I'm going to take the potatoes over here so I can go ahead and wash them, and then I will dice them. And it doesn't look like I have to peel them, so that's a plus. Drop my potatoes. So if you watched me cook last night's meal and you're not on Instagram or don't follow me on Twitter or anything, you would have seen that we ate every last bit of that dinner. It was so good, and even Blake ate all of the food. We may have given him some ketchup. We usually, for stuff that he's not really used to, so some of the tricks that we like to use to get Blake to eat foods that most kind of kids or picky eaters don't use is oh look, these are golden on the inside. So these potatoes are described as Prince of Orange potatoes. So I was saying they look kind of like red potatoes from the outside, but on the inside, you can see they're kind of orange, so that's nice. So what I was saying is some of the ways we get Blake to eat food that he probably, I mean, most kids aren't adventurous, but we've always gotten him to eat things like black beans and things like that is, I usually separate it out. So instead of plating it the way that it showed to plate it last night, I put his chicken on the side and then the rice on one side and then the carrots on another side so that he would recognize what everything is and eat it. And he actually likes spinach, and so he didn't know that the kale was spinach. He's like, is this spinach? And at first I was like, no, and he's like, and I was like, no, it's just like spinach, eat it up. And so he ate it all. So that is good. And then we also, like, with meat sometimes, to get him to eat it, we'll put ketchup. Ketchup with anything makes anything delicious, so we did that for him. Over here trying to tap on this, see if I can see the comments, if there's any. So that's how we get him to eat things, is A, break it apart, and B, put ketchup with it. Those are our tricks. But he's always been a really good eater. He's always been good about eating things. The one thing that I did wish with last night's meal, the carrots, they were so good, and I really wish that we had more carrots. So normally today I would eat leftovers from last night, but since I'm cooking our dinner right now during lunch, I'll probably go ahead and have this for lunch since it'll be nice and hot, and then just have it again for dinner. Kind of, whenever you chop up any vegetables that you're going to cook together, you want to make sure that you chop them up uniformly. You don't want some giant chunks and then some tiny pieces, because then it won't cook the same. So you want to make sure that you kind of make everything about the same size. And I'm just chopping these in half, and then slicing them in half again, and then chopping them. And I love carbs, so I'm looking forward to eating these potatoes. So has anybody tried Blue Apron before? Have you guys gotten any of these meals? Do you have favorite recipes that they offer or anything like that? This is our first time. Like I said, probably for someone who's looking to explore cooking a little bit more, wants that kind of restaurant experience, but at home, learn to cook it yourself. Probably not for someone who's looking to be frugal. I would say, well, I think their meals are around like $8 to $9 per serving, which is kind of like what you would do at a restaurant. Not exactly a frugal meal, but it is nice to have just the amount of ingredients that you need. I always like to time. I don't know what time I started chopping these up. Let's say I started at 12. See how on the time is. Alright, so I've got my potatoes all chopped up. Dice the potatoes, peel the garlic, which I accidentally threw away, so we're going to use this. Finally chop two of the cloves, finally chop the remaining clove and smash it. That would be great. Peel and finally chop the shallots. Okay, so I've got a shallot over here. I'm going to go wash it off. Go ahead and chop that up, and it wants me to finally chop the shallot. So I am looking forward to trying this meal because barramundi is not something that I've ever had that I know of, or that I would probably pick out in a store, so it will be nice to try something new. Chop another half. So, yay, I am done with step 1, except I need to clean the spinach, but we'll do that later because I'm sure we'll have time. So I'm going to step 2 now. I'm going to roast the potatoes. It says place the potatoes on a sheet pan, drizzle with olive oil, and season with salt and pepper. So I'm going to grab a pan. Gigantic, but that's okay. Alright, I'm going to place them on the pan. Spread them out and we'll sprinkle some olive oil and salt and pepper on them. Grab the olive oil. Does it tell me how much? Just drizzle with it however much you feel like. Alright, let's see. A little drizzle. A little more. Okay, that's probably too much, but that's okay. Olive oil is good for you. Good fats there. And some salt. And pepper. Just kind of toss that around. Coat it. Make sure it doesn't stick to the pan. Alright. Spread these out into a single layer. Arrange it in an even single layer. Make sure that the fleshy side is down. Okay. See, I didn't do a very good job of uniformly chopping. Some of them are kind of thick and some of them are small, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to pop this into the oven. And it says to roast it for 28 to 30 minutes. I'll probably check it. I'm still waiting on the oven to get to, holy crap, 475. That sounds really high. I feel like that's too high. I'm gonna knock that down to 400. That sounds really high. Okay, 400. Okay. Okay, I went ahead and set my timer for 20 minutes, and instead of 475, which sounds really, really high to me, I went ahead and made it 400, and then I'll check it in about 20 minutes and probably give them a stir every once in a while. Alright, so now I am on to step 3, which is make the aioli. So it says to wait until the potatoes have roasted for 5 minutes, but I don't feel like I need to wait on that. In a small bowl, combine the mayonnaise, half the vinegar, and as much of the garlic paste as you'd like. The garlic paste that I was supposed to make. So I'm just going to throw some garlic in there. Alright. All the mayonnaise. In a small bowl, combine, I guess, all the mayonnaise. I do like how it's pre-measured. That's nice. That was nice. If I can open it up, there we go. Looks like some fancy mayonnaise. Get some of my garlic. And then half of the vinegar. I love these cute little bottles. They're so tiny and cute. Okay, so half the vinegar. I don't know how I know it's half. There we go, that looks about half. Like how it's kind of precise, but not really. Alright, garlic, and then season it with salt and pepper. Okay, so I added the garlic, the vinegar, and then just some mayonnaise. So aioli is basically mayo, garlicky mayo. That smells pretty good. Okay, that's gonna go to the trash. Alright, I'm just gonna mix it up. Season it with some salt and some pepper. Alright, I'm going to go ahead ahead and set that in the fridge because I don't want it to stay out for so long. It doesn't say to, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the fridge. That sounds good. Okay, so boom, step 3 is done. Now I'm on to step 4. Cook and drain the spinach. So I should probably go wash that first. There's a bag of spinach here. It's crazy because it looks like it's a whole bunch of spinach, but once I cook it, I'm sure it's going to shrink down a lot. Wash it. It was already washed pretty well, but never hurts to wash it again, especially if they tell you to. Alright, so while the potatoes continue to roast in a large pan, non-stick if you have one, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Working in batches, add the spinach. This sounds like a process. Alright, here we go. Let's see. In a pan or a pot? Okay, I guess a pan. We'll use the big pan we used last night. Alrighty. Yes, after all that mess I made, my husband cleaned all the dishes for me. He's a good one. Okay, so now I am going to... Okay, so I'm going to heat the olive oil. Does it say how much? 1 tablespoon. A little bit more. Okay. My husband was making fun of me last night. He's like, you kept saying sizzle over and over again. Why did you keep saying sizzle? I'm like, because the pan had to sizzle before we put stuff into it. We're gonna make it sizzle again. That could be my catchphrase instead of, who's it, Emerald has bam, mine could be sizzle. Alright, so I'm going to cook working in batches, add the spinach, season with salt and pepper, cook stirring occasionally 2 to 3 minutes per batch, and then transfer to a strainer. Fold or rest over a bowl. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I have a big enough bowl. We'll use this bowl. Combine. Oh, I did it again. I'm glad I left this towel on the floor because I keep dripping water on the floor. Alright, so that'll work and I can drain it that way. Where am I going to put it? Until then. Too many bowls needed. Got another bowl. I don't like dirtying more dishes than I have to, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to dump all the spinach into here. There's a lot, but it's going to be so sad because we're going to end up with such a small amount once we cook it down. Okay. Alright, and then we'll put it in here whenever it's time to strain it. That will work. Alright, so, back here. Sorry, just trying to get my oil to evenly disperse. Alright, so I'm going to add some of the spinach. Hopefully we'll hear sizzle. Sizzle! Just add enough to kind of cover the bottom. Get out my spoon. Choose a spoon today. And then salt and pepper. Salt, pepper. Just kind of stir it down. I wish I could bring you closer to me, but that's okay. Get the idea. Just stirring it down until it gets kind of wilty. It really doesn't take very long. One of the things I don't like about spinach is I don't like when there's the stem. I wish they would cut those off, but that's okay. Alright, that's cooking down nicely. So I'm going to add the spinach, stir 2-3 minutes per batch. Okay, so I've got about 2 or 3 minutes per batch to stir this. And then we'll drain it. And then we have to chop it up. I bet you could also use, I don't want to get it dirty, but I guess you could also use a food processor. That would chop it up really fast. That'd be good. Be a good use of time. If my husband was the one home cleaning the dishes, I might do that. Just kidding. Okay. This little section looks good and wilted, so I'm going to put it into our bowl with the strainer and then go to the next section. So one of the things I do really like about the Blue Apron foods is that they are nice and healthy. So you've got spinach, you've got fish, and then we've got the potatoes. So it's nice that they're good, healthy farm fresh foods. Salt and pepper that. And then, like I did mention yesterday, which would have made my cooking so much more enjoyable, was you can also order wine pairings. So if you want to get wine delivered with your Blue Apron meals, you can do that as well. And then they also have on the menu card suggestions for what would pair well nicely with your meal. And then one neat thing that I saw that Blue Apron was doing is if you're a Blue Apron member and you have plans for Thanksgiving and they do have a Thanksgiving menu meal that you can get, but if you are going to be out of town, someone else is doing the cooking for Thanksgiving, you can also donate your Blue Apron meal that week for a family in need. So I thought that was kind of neat. A neat way to give back. All right. Second batch of spinach looks pretty much nice and wilted. Scoop it up. And then throw in the last batch. And the salt and pepper. And I always like to read ahead to see what's next. All right. What is next is, so then we're going to transfer it to a strainer, press down on the cooked spinach to release the liquid, and then move it to the cutting board. What are we doing with these shallots? So I can move them. And then we're going to start cooking our fish. The same pan, add the shallot and chopped garlic. Okay, so we're going to bring those back in at the end. Get them out of the way. I guess I could put them in a tiny bowl. I have a whole drawer full of different mixing bowls. I've got glass mixing bowls, silver mixing bowls, and I've got some white ceramic mixing bowls. I like having all different mixing bowls available, and then all different sizes. Alright, those are now out of the way. Okay, ready to chop up the spinach. Give it a little stir. Serrated knife out. I feel like it cuts through the spinach better once it's cooked. Alright. Save our spinach and we'll drain it. Okay, and so they say to press it with a spoon to drain it. I don't think I've ever drained the spinach. That's probably a really good idea. So this is my spinach, just getting all the water out of it. Extra arm workout. This morning I did wake up. I'm going to say I'm enjoying the daylight savings time. I guess the reverting back to normal time, the falling back, because I wake up much earlier without so much hassle. I'm sure once I get used to the time change it won't be so, but I was up pretty early this morning, and it wasn't a struggle to get out of bed. Got my workout done, my favorite workout, and so we're doing T25, and we're on the beta cycle, and the beta cycle has speed 2.0, and it's my favorite because it's kind of reminds me of a dance routine. So it's a routine. You just repeat the same thing, and it's in 8 counts. It just makes it, for some reason, dancing to me is easier than telling me to like go do some cardio. That's boring. But doing a routine is fun. Alright, so pretty much drained all my spinach. You can see all my spinach juice here. I don't know what you would do with that. I'm sure someone resourceful would have some wonderful use for spinach juice. Maybe you could put it in a smoothie or something. I don't know. Okay, so that means I'm going to dump it now. I'm going to dump it on here and kind of let it... There's even more water. So remember how I filled the whole thing when I first put it in here, and now it's just this little clump of cooked spinach. So much water. Okay, that's good. Alright, and then it wants me to chop it up. It's nice and green. Put that out of the way over here. Spread it out. I think I'm going to let it cool. I'm going to let that cool, and then we'll start cooking the fish, and then we'll come back over here. Let's check on the potatoes while I'm thinking about it. One of the bad habits that I have is I will actually stir stuff in my oven, and I burn myself so many times. I still have the burn from last Thanksgiving when I was like stirring the stuffing and hit the oven. That's not a smart thing to do. You shouldn't do that, but I do that all the time. Potatoes are looking good. They're a little kind of, just wanted to stir them. Some of them were getting stuck to the bottom, so I wanted to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright. Spinishness out of the pan. All dried up, strange. Alright, so next to cook the fish, I bet we're going to use olive oil. Pat the barramundi fillets dry with paper towels. Okay. I bet I should get my pan and same pan, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Let's go ahead and heat that up and I'll pat them dry. Alright, about a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm glad it doesn't ask me to wash the fillets, because I always feel like when you wash chicken and fish in the sink, you get germs everywhere. You're gonna cook it, it'll be okay. I don't like the germs all over my sink. Okay, how do I get into this? Okay, it's very sealed, it won't let me in. I have to cut it into it. Ah, there we go. Fish. Just making sure they're still fresh since I got them on Friday. They smell fine. They smell fresh. Dry and stick them in this bowl we had the spinach in. Alright, it wants me to leave the skin on. Pat, pat, pat. This is a step I don't normally do, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, so I will do it. Just to... Okay, and they're already scored. I saw that the skin, it said that the fillets are scored, that will make them lay flat. I didn't know if I was going to have to do that and how well I would be able to do that, so I'm glad to see that they are already done that way. That this is the correct coloring for the fish. Just a nice little sea bass. Smells good. It smells like fish. Alright, scooch that over there, wrap it up. Alright, so that's patted dry. Heating that up. I need to season them. I'm gonna wash my hands. The potatoes, so let's grab those. Alright, my pan's all kind of lopsided, but I've got my potatoes that are nice and roasted out of the oven. Give them a little stir. Set them over here. Potato spoon. And this pan's going to flip back at me. Anybody else have pans that do that kind of bend when they get in the oven? They get hot and bend up, and they get cool and bend back down. Crazy. Alright. This seems great. Now I'm going to, alright, so I've done, I have to finish that. So now I'm going to add the seasoned fillets, skin sides down, cook 3 to 5 minutes on the first side. And so I'm probably going to do a little bit more than I should, but that's okay. Salt, pepper. You got the sizzle. Skin side down. I did it wrong. Skin side down. I gotta flip this. Oops. Okay, so skin side down, and then cook 3 to 5 minutes. All right, what time is it? I do it the other way. Okay. Alright, so lots of sizzling action. This is grossing me out. Okay. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and chop up the spinach now that it's cooler. And I did like the way last night with the kale, we kind of mixed it, we chopped it up and then we mixed it into the rice. And like I said, I probably wouldn't just eat flat out kale. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't eat just flat out. Like if you gave me a chunk of kale, I wouldn't really eat it. But when it was mixed in with the rice, it was really good and I ate it all. And even Blake ate it all. He liked it. Again, he thought it was spinach, but he likes spinach, so kind of the same thing. Alright. Get that together and chop it up some more. Got a couple more minutes. And then I'm going to flip and cook it 3 minutes on the other side. And then we're going to finish the dish. So I don't know, maybe it's taken about as long. I feel like this one's gone a little bit quicker than yesterday's. I have to light some candles. It smells like fish in here. I would turn on the vent fan, but then it would be too noisy for you to hear me at all. Okay. I'm going to flip that. Give that a couple of minutes. So like I mentioned so far, the food has been delicious. I can tell this is going to be another delicious meal. So my first impressions of Blue Apron so far, I like that the food comes to your front door. I like that it's sourced from farms. I don't know, local. I think some of it came from, I can't tell you where the fish came from. Let's see. I can't really read where this one came from. And I was trying to see, it told me exactly what, the chicken came from New York, so that's not really local because I'm here in Texas, but so some of the foods come, they try to source them from farmers, and so that's good. It's nice to give back to local farm families and things like that. I do kind of wish that it was already like chopped up and washed, and I just threw the ingredients together, but I mean 10 minutes of prep time is not that bad, so I guess I'm being picky. And then I do like that it's healthy foods, so spinach, fish, good healthy foods, and I would say that they're probably, I mean this one has some mayonnaise in it, but they're kind of low fat, low calories. I don't know if it gives you like the fat and calorie information or not. I bet if I went to the website, I bet I could find it. And I like the instructions, they're easy to follow. I like that they have pictures. I'm a very visual person, so I like to follow the pictures. But for a working mom who's looking to create fast meals, probably not what you're looking for. But if you're looking to cook more and, like I said, it'd probably be a fun date night or something like that. It would be fun to do with a group, or if you're trying to learn how to cook and you want to explore different foods and not have a lot of leftover ingredients of things that you're not going to use a lot, I'd probably use it for those reasons. So I don't know how much much we'll be doing, and in the future, I'll probably try it again. I'll probably browse through the menus, and if there's something good that I want to try, then I'll probably add it in and give it a sample. All right. So how do I know if the fish is done? Oh, well, the fish is done whenever it flakes nicely with the fork. All right. Flip and cook 2 minutes. Lightly brown and cook through. That's the pan. So I'm really weird about making sure that like the chicken and the fish are cooked all the way through, because I don't want it to make anybody sick. So last night, one of the comments my husband did tell me is he said that the chicken was kind of rubbery, but it's probably because I cooked it too long and it's too high of heat. So I probably should have turned back the heat some, and it wouldn't have made it and not cooked it as long. But that's okay. It was still really good, and he still ate every bite of it. I'm going to test the thickest piece of the fork to see if it's done. The only bad thing about cooking things like fish in your own house is my house smells like fish now. That's okay. Ooh, that looks nice. Yeah. Alright, so I just removed one of the fillets. Look how nice and brown. I don't know if you can see, my lighting's terrible. Nice and flaky. So the test to see if fish is done is you just stick a fork in it. I don't know if you can see. You just stick your fork in it and see if it flakes easily, then it's done. All right, so my fish is done. First, it wants me to wipe out the pan again. Wiping out of the pan. Put more olive oil in it. All right, so I'm on step 6, almost done. How many minutes am I in? 43 minutes in, almost done. My potatoes are done roasting. I probably cut them up too small, I don't know. In the same pan, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil over medium-high heat. I'm going in a tablespoon. A tablespoon. Olive oil, add the shallot and the garlic. I just feel like my shallot and garlic cooks really fast. Got that sizzle. And if you've never cooked with the shallot, it's just, it's sort of like a onion. It's in the onion family. Onion, garlic, shallot. Using the salt and pepper. Salt, pepper, salt. Alright. Cook, stirring occasionally. Add the chopped spinach and the remaining vinegar. Put the spinach on. vinegar. And season the salt and pepper, cook 1 to 2 minutes, and then I'm done. Voila! How did they plate it? So the potatoes. Fish do it, huh? And then some of the spinach. I'm dividing it up in my pan. And we are done. There we have it, right at 47 minutes. So then I have my second pairing of food, the pan-seared barramundi with Prince of Orange potatoes and spinach. And now I have lunch and now I have dinner ready. So that is so good. I've got my dinner ready. So tonight after soccer practice, when it's dark, we can come home, just reheat it, and then it'll be ready to go and ready to eat. So I'm excited to try this meal this afternoon for lunch, and then I'll probably have it again for dinner or have yesterday's leftovers. So my first experience with Blue Apron, it's been good. Don't know if I would do it on a regular basis just because of time constraints, but if you're looking to learn how to cook, definitely something you should give a try.